Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had the perfect holiday season, however that may look for you. If you're new here, my name's Adele Ashley. I post everything from lifestyle, beauty, book, and bujo content. And today we're going to dive into my January 2024 setup. To start with here, I am just doing my winter reading list. So this is actually more like a quarterly spread that I like to keep in my bullet journals. And I started setting it up when I was doing my kind of yearly setup and then realized that I actually didn't have everything I needed for this. So went back to it now. But essentially, I just picked 6 books that I'm really excited to have come out in the year. I'm going to use my Canon Ivy to print out book cover titles there, and then I just paste them in with the date that the book comes out underneath, so I have something to kind of refer back to when I am reading, or if I'm in a bit of a slump. I also am still grappling with the idea of potentially doing a reading journal, so we'll see how that kind of plays out. After that, I have my winter bucket list spread. So this is actually a spread that I started adding into my journal last year, and it's quickly become one of my favorites. So essentially all I do is I just write down a couple things that I can do over the winter. Some of them are thematic, some of them are not so much, like just kind of in general things that I want to do. But it gives me a really easy way to decide on like a slow day or a quiet day, something that I can do for fun. And that's actually one of my themes for the year, is just to have fun. It definitely was it last year as well. It was to leave the house and not spend all my time inside and be more social or go out more. And I found that the bucket list really helped with that. And it could be really simple, like go grab coffee. I know one year I said that I wanted to, one season actually, sorry, I said that I just wanted to try a new restaurant, get a facial at Formula Fig, which is somewhere that I go quite frequently now. That facial at Formula Fig actually led to a membership. But for winter 2024, my bucket list is pretty simple. I want to start knitting again, which I did receive a knit kit for Christmas, so that should be fairly easy. Watch a cheesy Valentine's Day movie, grab a bottle of wine from a local wine shop that I've always seen, and then just book a photo shoot. It doesn't have to be too big, but just get it booked. After that, I have my Q1 content page. So this is something that I started adding into my journals late last year. And essentially it's just a really easy page for me to see what I plan on posting in the months ahead, as well as kind of plan it out just in general. So really have a focus for what I want to post. And like I said, this is just very high level planning. I do include a content page with all my weekly spreads as well, but I just like to know, for Q1, we're going to be focusing on, I don't know, life at home because it's colder, and some quick and cozy activities, and that's kind of what our posting is going to be more about. Or in the summer, there's more opportunity for adventuring, and I can include things like trips and stuff like that planned out in there as well. So at a glance, I know what's coming up and also what content I may need to create. So I basically just have a calendar there for the 3 months, January, February, and March. So at a glance, I could see what is going on, and room at the bottom to also write kind of just general information about each month. And like I said, this is very high level for me. I don't expect it to be perfect. It's something that I kind of go back to some months and sometimes I don't, but it is nice. I notice when I don't have it in there that I miss it. So it is going in this time. On the left-hand side of the page, I also add in a section where I can write about all the different areas of content. So I have a blog, what's going up on YouTube now, what's short form content, so reels or shorts I may be doing, and then I'm adding in a 4th little section there for something that I am calling a secret project for now, hoping to launch, well, shouldn't say hoping, it will be launching this year. But that has its own little section as well while I think about it in the planning stages. And then I also have a page dedicated to content ideas. So this is specifically for YouTube and social media. And I like to just have a page. It's kind of like a brain dump of ideas that I have for things that I can post. This is an evergreen list, so it's not really seasonal or anything like that, but just general ideas where it's like, hey, I want to post about X this year. Or, you know, I saw this reel that I think a really good example is my Nike content dunk reel is kind of came out of that list. It was something that I saw and was very easy for me to do. And then that page there with the blurred out title is just for my secret project. Okay, so my January spread. So I actually had a piece of paper left over from when I was creating my 2024 year in pictures page. So that's actually the paper that I wrote the quote on, and I just had to use the scrap of it as kind of like a title page for the month. So I'm just gonna write January on there. And then I found these pansy stickers, which I didn't know this, but pansies are actually one of the flowers that represent January and Capricorns. And as my birthday is coming up very soon in January, I found it fitting to kind of include that as a nod to turning a year older. So I basically just stuck those around where I was going to place the piece of paper as a kind of like a border kind of, and then added in a cut extra sticker there where I misjudged my placement, and then just finished it off with a calendar underneath. Super simple. I realized after the fact, I usually start my weeklies on Monday, but my calendars I usually start on Sunday when I'm doing my kind of full month overview. So I actually ended up writing Sunday down at the beginning and at the end, but we tried to fix it with a gel pen, and then quickly realized that we had an extra sticker, so just popped that on over there to call it a day and fix the mistake. After that, I got into my weekly spreads, so I opted to stay away from doing a habit tracker or anything else this month. I just wanted to keep it kind of simple. So we have that calendar stamp that we used to kind of put in the notebook, same one that we used for our future log. And then for each week of the month, I'm actually putting in a quote. So to start the year off, there are better things ahead than any we leave behind by C.S. Lewis. And I thought this was pretty fitting because January 1st is a Monday. It's the first week of the year, and it just kind of made sense to place it there. And then under that, I have a cute little note section as well for anything that pops into my mind during the week. So sometimes I'd leave this as a bigger page if I know it's going to be a very busy month, but I figured we'd opt for a little, I guess, half-page spread for this now, or a quarter of the page. I don't know, but something really simple there. And then I colored it in with some mild liners. These were driving me crazy how kind of patchy they looked, and I know it's just kind of like the nature of the pen that is going to do that, but I was like, you need to get some brush pen, girls, because that patchy sub area is darker than the other, brush doesn't cover the full box thing is not for me. It was the perfectionist in me had to let go a lot. And then I just created a simple block spread here for the 7 days of the week. So I actually don't fill these in very often in my bullet journals, but I always like having a spread that lets me know kind of Monday through Sunday any appointments or anything that I have booked. So I would include things like I'm going to a spin class at this time. I have a facial appointment or a brow appointment booked. Just all those little things that I need to know or remember at a glance, but aren't necessarily, appointments. I include appointments there. And then I also have a section for next week. So if I were to book something in there, I would include it so I know what's coming up in the week ahead, especially if I were to just glance at my spread for this week as opposed to looking at next week, I know like, yeah, you know what, I probably can't do anything on Thursday, for example, but I can do it on this day. Any really big events that are coming up. So sometimes I'll refer back to my future log, and if there's a wedding that I need to go to or a big event, it goes in my next week's spread, just so during the current week I have an idea of what's coming up ahead and can plan accordingly. And then I created a Dutch door spread for the rest of my weekly. So I included a to-do list, which I like to do just a general kind of brain dump of things that need to get done throughout the entire week, because I don't really have a lot of tasks that are overly time sensitive. And then I have a second one for create. So that create tab is for anything that I need to shoot or film throughout the course of the week. Or kind of anything that I think would be nice, referring back to those content pages as well. And that idea list for content, I will put it on that create list if I plan to tackle it that week. I started including a highlights as well, just so a little bit of gratitude, like anything that good that happens during the week or really stood out for me. And then that separate little block at the bottom just includes, it's really a content planner for me, just so I know what I am posting throughout the week. And I am so sorry, it like really jumps ahead here because my camera actually died and I didn't notice for about a good 20 minutes. So we end up jumping ahead to the spread from 2 weeks later, which is why I'm going back and re-highlighting all of those boxes. But bonus points, I seem to have figured it out, how to do it without driving me actually crazy. But essentially what's going on is I have outlined around those to do and create boxes. My social media planner spread just has the days of the week there, and I'm just going to write in what's happening. And I continue on having quotes and highlighting for each week, the week that we are in that gray mild liner as well. And, you know, these spreads, I actually really like them. It was a bit of a challenge for me. I mentioned it before, but I'm not really a drawer, and I tend to keep my spreads fairly minimal. So actually one of my goals for the year is to make my bullet journal a bit prettier. And by that I mean just really focus on making sure that I take the time and decorate it, or kind of get out of my creative rut where sometimes I just literally just write the title on and it's so boring for page after page, and utilize all the things that I know. So Dutch doors, calligraphy, use my stamps, use all my different markers, just really tap into that side of what I'm doing, which actually kind of aligns with some of my other goals as well. So I'm someone who definitely plans more in a quarterly approach as well as like a long-term approach. So I do have a section that talks about like big scary goals or lifetime goals. I talk about things that I want to accomplish at the end of the year, but then I also like to break that down into smaller goals. And one of my goals is actually to post 2 times a week throughout the year here on YouTube. And I'm going to give myself some grace with that. I know that there's times where, you know, there could be a week where I post 3 times a week, and there could be a week where I post maybe only once. But on average, I would like it to be at least 2 times a week for 2024. And, you know, I think it's doable. Like, it doesn't seem like something that is out of the realm of possibility for me to post 2 times a week. I also really need to get my driver's license. I had it before, and through COVID and everything else, I just let it expire, and I've been putting off getting it back. But really all I have to do is do like a really simple driving test and it would be done. So I want to tackle that. I want to use my spin membership because I pay for 8 classes a month, and sometimes I make it to 2, sometimes I make it to all 8, but I'm looking to more consistently get back to those 8 classes a week. And then I really want to get to 100 subscribers on this channel in the next 3 months. I know that seems like such a small and little goal, but you know, it's been only maybe 4 months, 5 months since I started this channel, and I would really like to actually get to 100. It's just a little milestone there for me in the next 3 months, and then at the 6 month mark I have another goal that I have in mind related to that, but I really would like just to see you all growing. And then one of my silly goals for 2024 is actually to try every single coffee shop within 5 kilometers of my house. So that's ambitious. I won't lie. Even thinking about like 1 kilometer away from me, I can think of about 15 different coffee shops, honestly. There's a street that has a coffee shop just about every single block, but I want to try all the specialty coffee shops around, and you know, that just seems like something really fun to do. So here we have my content pages for the month. So I'm just putting those pansies back in there, and I'm keeping it really simple with headers. So one says scheduled content, the other one is just content to create. So super simple, you know, just I can fill it out through the month. The scheduled content page has a little bit more stuff on it just because I do write, I will be writing out things that I know are already planned on there. So for example, I have I'll be adding in my YouTube posting schedule. For Instagram, that Monday coffee quote, I will be writing the days for all the Mondays there and getting that in as well. And then anything miscellaneous that I know of. So flipping through my whole setup, as you can see for the winter reading list, I have started to add in those 6 covers, the books that I'm looking forward to coming out over the next few months. And you know, I'm actually quite proud of this entire setup. I really wanted to make sure that it was functional but neat, but also a little bit of creative, and I think I have managed to do that. And you know, I'm just looking forward to maintaining that throughout the rest of the year as well, and taking that goal off at the end of the year. Please let me know in the comments what some of your goals are for January or for 2024 in general. I always am so interested in hearing what people are working towards over the course of the year, especially if you have any kind of fun goals like mine, like, you know, trying all those different coffee shops. I would love to have a conversation about it with you all in the comments or over on Instagram at Adele Ashley _. Till next time, have a great day.